So, public hearing on proposed improvements for the Onondaga County Sanitary District Lake Creek was not called to order. Will clerk please call the roll?
Legislators May.
Here.
Burtis.
Here.
Gunnett. Here. Cody.
Here.
Abbott.
Here.
Hume.
Here.
Ryan.
Here.
Chase.
Here.
Olson.
Here.
McCarron.
Here.
Knapp.
Here.
Bush.
Here.
Kelly.
Here.
Kinney.
Here.
Garland.
Here.
Irvin. Mr. Chairman.
Here.
17 present, none absent.
Thank you. The resolution of the legislature authorizing the public hearing has been entered into the record. Was the notice of the hearing duly published?
It was,
Are there any speakers?
as signed in.
So we have one speaker, Mr. Tom Law. Good to see you. Well, and again, you know, the rules we ask you to try to keep it to the commissioner, so yeah.
So you don't want a picture of me through the wall?
Maybe later.
Okay.
Maybe later. Thank you.
Lake Creek, I didn't really report on Lake Creek. I'm just going to introduce myself a little bit more for the Metro Sewage Treatment Plant, a little history. Lake Creek runs by the old municipal dump, and that was capped, I think maybe 20 some years ago. It runs out, if I'm right, parallel with the northern border of Eastwood, where I'm from. And I'm parallel to 298 from TLA out to Carrier Circle. My own participation in Lake Creek, long-term, in a way, I was a surveyor for a good number of years, and one of my projects was going out in the field and taking measurements because they were constructing a new connection to the Lake Creek sewage pumping station, I guess it is, and it required a new piece of connector at a certain angle so that the final connection would be made near the treatment plant. So we went out in the field and we took a couple of measurements, and I think we came pretty close. The contractor later said something like, doesn't seem to quite fit right, but I can make it work. So I hope I came close enough, I guess, with the field measurements. One of the controls there is you got things in the ground, and you can take an angle above on the ground, but you don't have a long shot. In surveying, it's very important to have a long shot to get your angles right, depending on the work, but usually you're talking about longer distances, 300 feet, 2,000 feet. So maybe it wasn't my fault, maybe because of the way it, you can't see underground on an angled pipe. But that was a connector, I think it was like 4 foot in diameter or something. And with a couple of wings into connect. Later, I'm going to talk about our vision. I don't think it's at all possible to say that Onondaga County is transparent with an environmental vision. There are many parts to it, from protecting Skinniapas Lake to solid waste to the incinerator to the effluent into the Great Lakes. So it's not as though there aren't details. There are many details, and then the question becomes of the invisibles, what's the chemistry? What's downstream from us in terms of air and in terms of water? But enough said for now. I think I'm probably close to the 3 minutes, so I'll be back.
All right, thank you. You can stay right there. You don't have to walk back and forth. So we're good. All right. Is there anyone else that wishes to be heard on this particular public hearing? Seeing none, the hearing is closed. Next, we have a public hearing on the proposed improvements for the Onondaga County Sanitary District Metro WWTP. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Legislators May.
Here.
Burtis.
Here.
Gunnett.
Here.
Cody.
Here.
Abbott.
Here.
Kuhn. Kuhn. You're muted.
Sorry. Here.
Ryan.
Here.
Chase.
Here.
Olson.
Here.
McCarron.
Here.
Knapp.
Here.
Bush.
Here.
Kelly.
Here.
Kinney.
Here.
Garland.
Here.
Irvin. Mr. Chairman.
Here.
17 present, none absent.
Thank you. The resolution of the legislature authorizing the public hearing has been entered into the record. Was the notice of the hearing duly published?
It was,
Are there any speakers?
yes.
Mr. Law, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I've got my Adirondack hat on because I'm going to speak toward purity, and I think that was part of the motivation for the Adirondack Park. So I have like 7 introductions to this. I don't think I'm going to force you to hear every amazing opening statement, but I'll give you a few. The Pope sent me here, Laudate se, let's take care of our common home. I think I have the paperwork right here, the motu proprio for my authorized suggestions from the Pope. If you believe that, well, okay. Then there's the other opening that says, it's all smoke and mirrors, of course, today being the smoke day. And here we are in politics, so it's smoke and mirrors, right? That's, public skepticism, I guess you'd say. Then there's the other opening. I'm here as enfranchised by, quote, participation rules in government, in parenthesis, with a big G, little g. So participation at the local level and county and state. So our vision is shared openly and common standards are reviewed. I guess that's the purpose of the participation, that people's minds are involved and their dreams and visions, which again, I'm claiming the county vision for environment needs a vision statement with, let's put it mildly, with not only structure, but science and training requirements to professionalize. But the big picture, I would say, is that it's very hard in our detailed society to summarize, to get a vision, because we have so many details that a holism, a healthy holism of life is really a challenge. And that's what I'm bringing to Ms. Abbott, of course, as the head of environmental protection, that maybe she should work with Joni Mahoney on the science and the training. Because we have a national powerhouse in the environmental science and forestry school here. And then what's the other opening is that my 8th grade paper at Blessed Sacrament School was on sewers. Wow. The size of sewers and such, but never got to the chemistry necessarily. But here's one question in a few terms for you: flocculants. We have a clarifier and gallery here for a lot of money, and the debt service at $69 million of bonding is going to be appreciable over time. Catch this, that number, 69 million, is an artificial number because you can't tell me that the whole project's going to wind up. That's a maximum limit, but the whole project's can end up being an accounting, spreadsheet with a lot of little things that end in $111.18. So bonding, we're here, aren't we, all together for bonding? We want to bond together. But I didn't read the report. Okay, there was a report supposed to ground this project, and it's there. It's there for the approval and then for the bonding. Now, who should be reading this report? Probably those kids in green shirts. You know, they're here to get up to speed, you know, and we can't have enough speed, can we? So what about the vision? Well, flocculants. It used to be that a clarifier was a big pool where things settle out and they threw in an aluminum-based flocculant, like a dust, and it kind of knocked out some of the particulates to clarify the water. And we're talking about pure water, aren't we, in the Great Lakes? So where do we go? Behaviorally, we have a responsibility to the commons. I think we can all agree with that. And you, the legislators, are our intermediary in saying, not only will fingers point at us for doing or not doing, but maybe we can point our fingers to certain things and say, well, let's pay attention to this thing. Here, we haven't been paying enough attention to this thing here. And I know I'm over time, so I guess it's ready to close. There are these invisibles. Like when you flush the toilet, you're no longer responsible, right? Because someone else, you're paying a sewer tax, $300, you know, 90 cents a day, maybe, whatever it is. Well, I'm saying that we have our commons, famously Garrett Hardin's piece, essay, The Tragedy of the Commons, from like 1972, is still out there. And we have to love our land and love our water because, and this is part of the vision, because there's 1,500 pathogens, little tiny germ and microbes and all kinds of things. Gotta love it because we gotta find out what's the real trouble out there at almost an invisible level. But where do we want to go here? I will finish, but those invisibles aren't all impossible to figure out. They seem invisible, like after you flush the toilet, what's actually going to happen in this clarifier? But there are people at Metro who are really working on this stuff. And you can kind of figure out what you're doing to the Great Lakes and the St. Lawrence and the Labrador Current. It sounds impossible, I know. What's going on downriver, Oswego River, as far as St. Lawrence, and catch this, St. Lawrence, when it enters the Atlantic at the Gulf of St. Lawrence, it mixes into the Labrador Current with a counterclockwise motion of the current of the St. Lawrence River. Now, isn't that interesting? Well, maybe not, but those kind of details, the melting water from Greenland, supplying a lot of force now in the Greenland, the Labrador Current, all those are important things. Huge amounts of meltwater, huge amounts. Like, you can hardly conceive it in terms of the gigatons of meltwater now going into the Atlantic Ocean. So what's the vision? It's for the kids. I mean, it's for you kids to develop. But I'm telling you, I am not satisfied that this county is a comprehensive visionary statement for the health, the public health of the public and of kids in the next generation. Our kids. Yesterday, I was at Seabreeze.
Are we getting there, Mr. Well?
Yeah.
Thank
I
you.
was at Seabreeze with my youngest grandson. He's 1 month and 1 day. And he liked my heartbeat because I was the third pair of arms holding him. His mother was there, his father was there, and we kind of took turns. But 3 other young kids. She's got 4 kids under 6. crazy. I got a crazy daughter. But we were at Seabreeze, and I'm holding this 32-day-old baby. And the vision that we have with science and the training and the tangible, not invisible, but tangible touches of environmental protection are going to impact those of that generation.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Law. Is there anyone else wishing to be heard on this public hearing for the Metro wastewater treatment plant? Seeing none, the hearing is closed. The legislative session is now called to order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Legislators May. Here. Burtis. Here. Gunnett. Here. Cody. Here. Abbott. Here. Hume.
Here.
Ryan.
Here.
Chase. Here. Olson.
Here.
McCarron.
Here.
Knapp.
Here.
Bush.
Here.
Kelly.
Here.
Kinney.
Here.
Garland.
Here.
Irvin. Mr. Chairman.
Here.
17 present, none absent.
Thank you. Would everyone please rise for the invocation led by Legislator Irvin, and please remain standing for the salute led by Legislator May.
Let us pray. Today is a day we've never seen before, a day that allows us to do better than we did yesterday, a day that allows us to focus on that which needs to be done, and a day that allows us to talk with one another, working together to solve the problems of this county. In this meeting, we hope that we will be able to maybe not always agree, but always come to an answer that is best for those who sent us down to do the work. Because we come here to do the work of the people, not the work of ourselves. We come here to make certain that this county is in better shape today than it was yesterday. So let us grasp the fact that we're here today, the fact that we are able to do this, and that we should do this in one accord towards the best of our abilities. This is our prayer. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The minutes of the previous session have been distributed. Absent any objections, reading of the previous minutes will be waived. Are there any objections to the minutes? Seeing none, the minutes are approved. Are there any communications to be presented?
As listed on the agenda.
Thank you. First, we have a gold seal presentation, and I would ask that the Skinny Atlas Odyssey of the Mind teams come forward with Legislator Abbott. Tammy, I would ask you to please read it in, and then we'll take it from there.
I am so excited to introduce these 26 awesome, creative, hardworking kids who broke history. They're making history, not broke history. You broke records and made history in Onondaga County and Skinny Atlas Central Schools. And we're going to explain it a little bit. Andy's going to read this into the record. Come on down, guys.
2 rows.
There you go. The County Legislature of Onondaga County, New York, on the 6th day of June, 2023, wishes to recognize and honor the Skinny Atlas Central School District's Odyssey of the Mind teams on competing at World Finals. Whereas 4 teams from Skinny Atlas Central School District recently competed in the Odyssey of the Mind World Finals, where 2 placed in a competition featuring teams from 11 different countries. And whereas Odyssey of the Mind is a creative problem-solving program where team members present their solution at a competition to be predefined long-term problem that takes many months to complete and involves writing, design, construction, and theatrical performance. And whereas the last time a team from Skinny Atlas qualified for the World Finals was 5 years ago, and this year marks the first time ever the district is sending more than 2 teams. And whereas Team St. Clair and Kowalski took 4th place, Team Brooks and Bringus came in 5th place, with Team Barnes and Morrow and Team Y Shunpayan also finishing in the top half of the competition teams. And whereas through Odyssey of the Mind, students learn how to develop skills and self-confidence, which will carry over all the areas of their lives throughout their lives. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Legislator Julie Abbott and all members of the Onondaga County Legislature do hereby recognize and honor the students of Skinny Atlas Central School District's Odyssey of the Mind teams on an incredible and memorable competition season.
So these kids represent 4 different teams from State Street Elementary. And I want you to know Odyssey of the Mind goes all the way through high school. These people just happen to rock and work so hard. These are amazing parents, educators from our school district that volunteer their time for this. And it is so awesome. If you don't know what it is, like Chairman Rowley said, Odyssey of the Mind are these like hippies listening to the Grateful Dead. And I assured him they were not, and they were so worthy of coming in here. Odyssey goes so much further than a sports season, okay? These kids start, and the adults, and they go many months longer than a sports season. You have 8 minutes, and you get to pick a problem, and basically you're problem solving, and it teaches life skills. They have to work as a team, and they have to check boxes within that problem. For example, there may need to be a musical instrument in the problem. They may need to construct something that has to do with STEAM or STEM. There's they come up and they do like a play, a performance out of it. And the coaches are not allowed to really do any hands-on. They can guide, but they can't build any of this stuff. You can't just bring your violin. You have to make one if you're going to put it in Odyssey of the Mind. There's another component when they get to competition at BOCES. It's a regional competition, and it's called spontaneous, where they're presented with a problem they've never seen before, and they on the spot, boom, have to solve it. So there's 2 prongs to this whole thing. And your friendships last a lifetime with Odyssey. I had a son who did it all the way to senior high school. What was awesome about it is there might be the awesome sports athlete, there might be the kid who works at Tops, and then you've got the child who is in chorus. And so you bring kids from all different social groups together, and they really do bond and continue. So I am so proud of you guys. And one other component, Ellen Wolford, Mrs. Wolford, took over the program, and I just wanted you to talk really quickly, and I know we have a long meeting, we'll go right after this, but there is a huge, our community, as you guys know, is over the moon for these guys, and it took a lot of money and fundraising to get them to Michigan State, where they just competed a couple weeks ago. So can you just talk a little bit about it?
Sure. I run the Odyssey program at our school, and this year we had 76 students making up 11 teams that competed. These 4 teams represent our teams that then qualified to move on to the World Finals, and we had to raise about $40,000 to get them there. And we live in a fantastic community where everybody pitched in and helped, all the parents, all the kids, all the grandparents, people that had previously had children in Odyssey that all kind of came forward and helped us get there. And we spent 4 nights out in Michigan State University, which was a pretty big college campus, wasn't it, kids? And we got to stay in the dorms and eat cafeteria food. It's just really, it was a great experience, just how we all wanted to spend Memorial Day weekend. But we did it, and we had a blast, and the kids were amazing. And like Julie said, it's all about problem solving. It's real life skills. We can't help the kids. We can't give them any guidance. We can't say, oh, I think you should make it this way or that way. The kids have to do it all. Everything that goes in front of the judges, from their costumes to their set to their script to what they came up with, all has to be kid generated. So we're really proud of all of their hard work. And thank you for having us here today.
We're proud of you making us proud. Congratulations, you guys. gonna say, you should let them walk out and then start your meeting. Oh, wait, let's get a picture.
What are you guys doing when you?
Maybe your notes.
Maybe we should get them to help us solve problems.
It's probably a good idea. Hey, yeah. We should throw one at them and see what happens. Okay, well, thank you. That was awesome. Next, we have the public comment period. Has anyone signed up to speak for the public comment period?
Yes, as signed in.
Thank you. We have two speakers. And again, I would call them forward. We allocate 30 minutes per our rules. I would ask each speaker to try to keep it 3-ish or so. First speaker is Elaine Denton. Elaine, please come forward.
Good afternoon. I'm Elaine Denton, a member of the CNY Solidarity Coalition and a mom of 3, and I live in the town of Manlius. I wanted to share a conversation I had with my 10-year-old a couple of weeks ago who loves to come home from school and tell me what he's learned that day. We were in the car and he was telling me about how they were learning about poverty, that millions of people around the world live in poverty, extreme poverty. He learned that here in Onondaga County, we have one of the highest rates of poverty in the country, especially among children in the city of Syracuse. To learn this worldwide issue was right here in his community made him sad. I mentioned that Onondaga County is planning on spending $85 million to build an aquarium. First, he said, but we don't live next to an ocean. Then he asked why they wouldn't give that money to the people in poverty or build housing for people. It doesn't make sense to him or me that our county government would choose to spend $85 million on something extra at this time when 1 minute the county executive is saying that we don't have enough resources and then next is pushing to build an expensive aquarium. My son asked me to share this conversation with you since he could not attend this meeting. 10 years old and he gets it. Government should be helping people, not be in the entertainment business. As for the item on this meeting's agenda to purchase the land from CORE, who has been exempted from paying taxes on these parcels since the city of Syracuse transferred the property to CORE in 2012. The resolution to purchase 439 and 451 Solar Street states, quote, whereas the amount above is considered fair and reasonable, end quote. Where is the documentation that shows the county did their due diligence? Was there an appraisal done on these properties? Looking at the tax records for these parcels, there are contradicting values showing a need for an appraisal. 451 Solar Street is only assessed at $661,000, and 439 Solar Street is assessed at $122,500. Why are taxpayers spending $1.7 million for two properties that are assessed at $738,500? Another question is why Onondaga County records show different and higher assessment amounts. If draft renderings are available or being released this summer, this information should give us a better understanding of how much the aquarium will cost. With all our costs rising, it is unlikely that the aquarium's costs have not increased. We should have this information before purchasing land to build the aquarium that doesn't seem to include parking. I ask you to table this resolution until there is more information about the design of the aquarium and an appraisal done on this and any future land purchases. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And our second speaker, and I apologize if I can't read this correctly, but is it Robert Saracen?
Hi, my name is Robert Saracen, 6110 Bay Hill Circle, Jamesville, New York, 13078. There are a whole lot of people here who are not here today who think it's hopeless that the aquarium has to go through. My belief is that enough people can come to their senses to show that you shouldn't throw good money after bad. The 25 million hasn't been spent, so let's not spend it. I want to give you a few figures from the Onondaga County development people, and I'll be giving this to the press and everyone else. They did some estimations, and they're going to have a reserve fund build-up plan. The county will commit a portion of the Oneida exclusivity gaming payments to support the reserve fund. It's now in excess of $5 million. We anticipate it will continue, and the plan is for 75% of the excess to be put into the aquarium reserve fund. Unfortunately, the county won't recognize that law requires that the money for the Oneida plan goes for the Oneida reserve fund, not for the aquarium. The second thing the Onondaga County people are talking about is that we anticipate a conservative estimate of $250,000 to $500,000 per year. Now, I took economics in college, and I think that the possibility of getting $250,000 to $500,000 per year for naming rights for the aquarium is ridiculous, because what business would want to spend that kind of money when it knows that the overwhelming majority of this county is against the aquarium? The last thing that this document says is the aquarium reserve fund. Economic impacts will result in sales tax of $250,000 per year, and this county will set aside and commit $250,000 from sales tax revenue on an annual basis to support the aquarium maintenance, capital improvements, and if necessary, operational expenses. So let's go over the figures here. They say 25 million. Let's have a lottery, whether it's going to be 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, or 50 to build the aquarium. Next, in terms of the subsidy, let's take a vote. Let's take an estimate of whether it's going to take $1 million a year, $2 million, or $3 million to keep the aquarium afloat. Plus the money it's taking from the United exclusivity agreements, the aquarium naming rights, and please, Ryan, don't ask Micron to be the name of the aquarium. Micron is smart enough to say no, but they're going to question the intelligence of our community if this community asks Micron to have the aquarium named after them, and for the sales tax of $250,000 per year. Furthermore, anyone who studies aquariums will know and will tell you that they require renovations and new exhibits, etc. And when you do the renovations and exhibits, it's going to be another 25, 30, 35, 40, $50 million. So the money's not there. As far as politics, my 9th grade social studies teacher, James Will Do at high school, taught me that politicians
like to stay elected. So I would first like to salute my councilman, David Knapp, who knew that the people were against the aquarium, and he took it off the agenda before the election because he wanted to win, and he won. So the aquarium vote was taken off the agenda before the election. The second person I would like to point out is, unfortunately, the students who were from Skinny Atlas could have received a valuable lesson in political science, where legislator Abbott, if she had combined the Republican vote and the conservative vote, she would be sitting in the state Senate today. But the Conservative Party was against the aquarium because they're for fiscal responsibility. The Republicans should be for fiscal responsibility. That is their trademark. And by not engaging in fiscal responsibility, Ms. Abbott lost the election. But I would like to salute Ms. Abbott for being so gracious at bringing the students and what they've done there. So I'm glad you're here, still here, and I'm glad Senator Rachel May is in the state Senate. Finally, I would like to point out that the money that you're giving to buy the land, someone said, well, tell them how much sales tax you're going to, property tax the county's going to lose. I said, no, the county's not going to lose any property tax. Who would want to buy this property in the first place? But the second thing is, you know, we've had economic decisions about these types of things for a long time, And we've made some mistakes. So if you want a massive structure underwater, we've got it. It's called destiny. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is anyone else signed up to speak? So is there anyone that would like to speak? Seeing none, the public hearing period is now closed. Are there any reports of standing committees?
None.
Reports of special committees?
None.
Will the clerk begin the roll of the district, starting with district number 17?
District 17, Mrs. Irvin.
None.
District 1, Mr. May.
Leader May?
Chairman, I rise and offer items 1 through 4, urge their adoption, and I would also like to request a waiver for item 1.
Any objections to the waiver on number 1? Seeing none, the waiver is granted. Tammy?
Confirming appointments, including a reappointment to the Onondaga County/Syracuse Commission of Human Rights.
Leader May?
Thank you, Chairman. I'm pleased to present 3 very strong candidates, 1 reappointment in Barnabas, and 2 new candidates, Harvey and Smith, to fulfill positions on our Human Rights Commission. These are positions that need to be filled as soon as possible. All legislators have received background on everyone listed here today, and I hope for a favorable vote.
Thank you.
On this. Thank you.
Thank you. Any discussion on number 1? Legislator Cody, sorry.
Yes, I'm happy to see these folks step up. I know that Ryan Smith is here today, and I just wanted to thank him. I know they've had a difficult time sometimes getting a quorum at this committee, and it's very important for them to be able to move forward with their work. And so I just thank all of them for agreeing to this position.
Thank you. Further comments on number 1? Seeing none, will the clerk please call a short call?
Legislators Abbott, May, Ryan, Rowley. 17 ayes, none opposed.
Number 1 is adopted. Number 2.
Adoption of the annual budget for.
Move the way the reading. Leader May.
Thank you, Chairman. This is the proposed 23-24 operating budget for Onondaga Community College. They have presented again this year a flat budget and a budget that is reflective of programs that have been tailored to contemporary needs for this community, adjustments in their management model and how they're approaching their business moving forward with slightly declining populations. And again, focusing their efforts and resources to the things that our community needs and the young folks and even adults that utilize OCC, things of value to them in pursuing their career and their lives in general. So I'm very pleased to report a flat budget and strongly urge adoption to this proposal. Thank you.
Thank you. Any discussion on number 2? Seeing none, will the clerk please call a short, I'm sorry, co-sponsor. Any further? Legislator Chase, co-sponsor. And Legislator Cody. Going once. Okay. Did we take a vote? Oh, please call a short call.
Legislators Abbott, May, Ryan Rowley, 17 ayes, none opposed.
Number 2 is adopted. Number 3.
A resolution authorizing.
Move the waive the reading. Any objections? Leader May.
Thank you, Chairman. Last year, we tacitly approved and received information on a 10-year plan from OCC on what they intend to do with capital. Okay, a good plan, a good strategy. Again, like the operating budget and the changes they've made from a management standpoint, changes to the institution physically to accommodate their vision for the future. We approved phase 1 of that plan last year, which is a long-term plan. Phase 2, which is $6.5 million today, being proposed is for classroom upgrades on campus. I urge adoption to this resolution.
Thank you. Any discussion on number 3? Leader Ryan.
I just want to echo with Leader May. I just can't say enough for the good work that OCC is doing up there with additional class upgrades and everything that we're doing with here to upgrade the facility to attract new, not just students from across the state too. It's not just the community. So they're Onondaga. So I just want to commend them for the good work that they're doing and enthusiastically support it. So thank you.
Thank you. Further discussion on number 3? Seeing none, will the clerk please call a long call?
Legislators Ryan?
Yes.
May?
Yes.
Irvin?
Yes.
Burtis?
Yes.
Gunnett?
Yes.
Cody?
Yes.
Abbott?
Yes.
Kuhn?
yes,
Chase?
Yes.
Olson?
Yes.
McCarron?
Yes.
Knapp?
Yes.
Bush? Kelly?
Yes.
Kinney?
Yes.
Garland?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
17 ayes, none opposed.
Number 3 is adopted. Number 4.
Authorizing the compromise of taxes, interest, and penalties on certain properties located along Hillside Road in the town of Lysander.
Leader May.
Thank you, Chairman. As the legislator for the town of Lysander in that district, I'm really pleased to present this tax compromise. If any of you check your memory banks, this particular parcel was where on Cold Springs Bridge, when you're heading into Baldwinsville, the oil tanks existed. If you all remember that, right on Seneca River there. And this goes back a long time. Ben Youst, I believe it's 20 years anyways, that this dispute has taken place. This is a resolution to a very long-term dispute. I think it'll enable the town and the owners to put this land back to practical use. And I'm just very pleased to see this resolution for $159,65. I urge adoption to this resolution. Thank you.
Thank you. Discussion on number 4. Seeing none, will the clerk please call a short call?
Legislators Abbott, May, Ryan Rowley, 17 ayes, none opposed.
Number 4 is adopted.
District 2, Mr. Rowley.
None.
District 3, Mr. Burtis.
Legislator Burtis.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I rise and present numbers 5 and 6 and urge their adoption.
Thank you. Tammy.
Calling for a public hearing on the adoption of the Onondaga County Comprehensive Plan, Plan Onondaga.
Legislator Burtis.
Thank you. So SACPA has developed a plan called Plan Onondaga or Plan On. What this does is the plan presents a future land use vision map and accompanying thematic goals and strategies to inspire our community. As we all know, we're going to experience quite a development here in the coming months and years to come. Plan On has accounted for all applicable county ag and farmland protection plans. It'll be periodically reviewed every 10 years, and this public hearing is due July 5th. Urge its adoption.
Thank you. Discussion on number 5. Seeing none, will the clerk please call a short call?
Legislators Abbott, May, Ryan, Rowley, 17 ayes, none opposed.
Number 5 is adopted. Number 6.
Authorizing the Onondaga County Executive to file the 2023 action plan for the Community Development Block Grant, Home Grant, and Emergency Solution Grant programs.
Legislator Burris.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If I could just back up a minute, and Dan and his team at SOCPA have done a lot of work and done a great job on Plan On, and I thank them for their work they've done there. This is about authorizing planning and economic development, the action plan for 2023. What we've got here is we've got a block grant, home grant, and emergency solutions grant program. The community block grant is about 2.3 million, and all towns and villages that submitted acceptable plans received money from this is customary. And then the home grant is about $731,000. It's 1.5% increase year over year. And then $169,000 is for the emergency solutions grant. All these are a great way to partner with our towns and villages and to supply to them much needed programs. I urge its adoption.
Thank you. Discussion on number 6. Leader May.
Thank you, Chairman. One, I'd like to request co-sponsor. I serve on the committee that makes these selections. The Office of Community Development for Onondaga County did an outstanding job marshaling a very large group of representatives that came from county government itself and really all corners of the county as far as representing municipalities involved. And they did a really nice job making sure everybody that could get something got something from a municipality standpoint. So it's a really good solution this year. The money was confined a little bit compared to years past, and the Office of Community Development did a nice job making sure everybody got something to move their communities forward with projects that align with the purposes of this grant. So I urge adoption to this as well.
Thank you. Further discussion on number 6? Seeing none, will the clerk please call a short call?
Legislators Abbott, May, Ryan, Rowley, 17 ayes, none opposed.
Number 6 is adopted.
District 4, Ms. Gunnett.
None.
District 5, Ms. Cody.
Legislator Cody.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. I rise to present resolutions 7 through 17 and urge their adoption.
Wow, we gotta pay you extra. Tammy.
Amending the 2023
Move away the reading. Any objections? Legislator Cody.
Yes, most of this is part of our DOT work plan. These first 4 resolutions are actually accepting state money, which we do every year for these programs. Number 7 is accepting money for the CHIPS program, or for the Pave Our Potholes program, which is based on the CHIPS formula. We've seen a small increase from last year on this one.
Thank you. Discussion on number 7. Seeing none, will the clerk please call a short call?
Legislators Abbott, May, Ryan, Rowley, 17 ayes, none opposed.
Number 7 is adopted. Number 8.
Amending the 2023 Onondaga County budget to make funds available for use in connection with the New York State Pave New York program and authorizing the execution of agreements.
Legislator Cody.
Yeah, again, this is accepting money from the state for our share of the state Pave New York program.
Discussion on number 8. Seeing none, will the clerk please call a short call?
Legislators Abbott, May, Ryan, Rowley, 17 ayes, none opposed.
Number 8 is adopted. Number 9.
Amending the 20.
Move away the reading. Any objections? Legislator Cody.
Yeah, number 9 is the extreme winter recovery funding. This money, in our county at least, is put toward paving our roads.
Discussion on number 9. Seeing none, will the clerk please call a short call?
Legislators Abbott, May, Ryan, Rowley, 17 ayes, none opposed.
Number 9 is adopted. Number 10.
Amending the 2020.
Move away the reading. Is there any objections? Legislator Cody.
Yeah, this is more money from the state for the CHIPS program. The state increased funding this year in CHIPS after 25 stable years. So this is accepting the increase in funding for this year.
Thank you. Discussion on number 10. Seeing none, will the clerk please call a short call?
Legislators Abbott, May, Ryan, Raleigh. 17 ayes, none opposed.
Number 10 is adopted. Number 11.
Amending the 2023.
Move to waive the reading. Any objections? Seeing none, Legislator Cody.
Yeah, number 11 is for a project in Salina on Old Liverpool Road, which runs parallel to the Onondaga Lake Parkway. This will be increasing lanes in some areas, putting in some sidewalks, additional drainage, hopefully kind of into correspond with the state project on the parkway.
Thank you. Discussion on number 11. Seeing none, will the clerk please call a short call?
Legislators Abbott, May, Ryan, Raleigh. 17 ayes, none opposed.
Number 11 is adopted. Number 12.
Amending the 2023 county
Move to
budget.
waive the reading. Any objections? Seeing none, Legislator Cody.
Yes, this is another project on the other end of Salina over in Lynn Court. So this is the Teal Avenue project. This would run from Court Street to Grant Boulevard. It's kind of convoluted over there right now. So we'll take a lane out and add some sidewalks for the safety of those pedestrians that walk from Lynn Court down to Shop City and into the city. So it's a great project for that area.
Thank you. Discussion on number 12. Seeing none, will the clerk please call a short call?
Legislators Abbott, May, Ryan, Raleigh. 17 ayes, none opposed.
Number 12 is adopted. Number 13.
Amending resolution number 76 of 2022.
Legislator Cody.
Yeah, this is a quick resolution to amend one word on an original resolution on the Manlius Bridge project. The state rejected it to just correct the amount of months that construction can begin.
Thank you. Discussion on number 13. Seeing none, will the clerk please call a short call?
Legislators Abbott, May, Ryan, Raleigh. 17 ayes, none opposed.
Number 13 is adopted. Number 14.
Authorizing the acceptance of.
Move to waive the reading. Any objections? Seeing none, Legislator Cody.
Yeah, this is a piece of property over in Geddes on a disconnected road. The property was sold by the state to a private owner, and the state has transferred to the county to can be a pass through to the owner.
Thank you. Discussion on number 14. Seeing none, will the clerk please call a short call?
Legislators Abbott, May, Ryan, Raleigh. 17 ayes, none opposed.
Number 14 is adopted. Number 15.
Authorizing an intermunicipal agreement with the city of Syracuse for constructing a highway improvements as part of the Onondaga Boulevard paving project.
Legislator Cody.
Yeah, this has to do with a project from Fay Road to Velasco Road to the city line to coordinate with the city on Velasco once the line is crossed there, to cooperate with the city on that.
Thank you. Discussion on number 15. Seeing none, will the clerk please call a short call?
Legislators Abbott, May, Ryan, Raleigh. 17 ayes, none opposed.
Number 15 is adopted. Number 16.
Authorizing an intermunicipal agreement with the city of Syracuse for constructing highway improvements as part of the Teal Avenue paving project.
Thank you. Legislator Cody.
So yeah, it's the aforementioned Teal Avenue project. So this would continue that project down Teal and coincide with the city project. Also some sidewalks and like work to that part of the road in the city. So the county will be doing the work to be reimbursed by the city.
Thank you. Discussion on number 16. Seeing none, will the clerk please call a short call?
Legislators Abbott, May, Ryan, Raleigh. 17 ayes, none opposed.
Number 16 is adopted. Number 17.
Authorizing the purchase of real property located at 439 and 451 Solar Street in the city of Syracuse.
Legislator Cody.
Yeah, so last August, the legislature approved a proposal to build an aquarium in the Inner Harbor. After much information, discussion, debate, this resolution simply authorizes the county to buy 2 parcels of land in the Inner Harbor and accept the seeker with negative declarations. The seeker built on previous environmental assessments of that parcel over the past several years. This is budgeted money for the acquisition of this land based on market analysis, a fair price to pay for this next step in the development of the aquarium.
Thank you. Discussion on number 17, Leader Ryan.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to make a motion to table this resolution.
So the proper nomenclature is postpone. If we table, it's just for this, you want to postpone it. Is there a date certain?
Well, let's go, I'll make a motion to postpone this resolution for 60 days.
60 days. Fair enough. Is there a second? Legislator Irvin. Any discussion on the table to postpone? Leader Ryan, go ahead.
If I may. So, we talked a lot about with this land purchase, we talked a lot about the seeker, the negative declaration, about environmental impacts, assessed value, appraised values. But my apprehension in the the motivation for the postponement is I think that we really have to get a better understanding before we spend or before we appropriate the $1.7 million. We have a true understanding about if the aquarium is going to cost what it is it said it costs, right? So we've had a number of businesses that have come through the IDA, who have come back to the IDA, who have asked for additional inducements beyond what they already had. And they've done that. The first one this year in January was a 16% increase. In the March of this year too was an additional 17% increase on the tax, right, or the building supplies. And why is that? It's because everything is more expensive. As I've been saying from the beginning, because of inflation, labor rates, a lot of this is going to be tied to steel and copper. By all accounts, I am not in the construction industry, but general consensus is those commodities are up anywhere from 20 to 30%. So my issue is, before we vote on this, I would much rather have assurances that we can build this for the amount of money that we're saying that we can. I keep being assured that we can, but for me, it's either the only inflation-proof building project in America is an aquarium, or we can't build it for that. So before I vote to appropriate this money for the land purchase for the building of the aquarium, I just want to make sure that we're not going to continue to saddle the taxpayers of the county of Onondaga with additional money beyond what we already think we could buy it for. So.
Understood. Thank you. Is there any further discussion on the table to postpone? Okay, we will take a vote. Yes means to postpone. You want to postpone it for 60 days. A no vote would mean to continue with the resolution number 17. Understood? So will the clerk please call a long call?
Legislators Ryan?
Yes. Yes.
May?
No.
Irvin?
Yes.
Burtis?
No.
Gunnett?
No.
Cody? No. Abbott?
No.
Kuhn?
Yes.
Chase?
Yes.
Olson?
No.
McCarron?
No.
Knapp?
No.
Bush?
Yes.
Kelly?
No.
Kinney?
Yes.
Garland?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman?
No.
7 ayes, 10 opposed.
The motion to postpone is defeated. Back to the resolution number 17. Is there any further discussion on number 17? Legislator Chase.
I know that we're all dealing with inflation at all sorts of different levels, but in looking over this piece of property, in 2015, the city sold it for $1,000. When we started talking about the aquarium, just about a year ago, the assessment went up to $783,000. And now this year, it's assessed at $1.45 million. Now, number one, we're paying way over what the assessment is, but when you look at this whole picture, looking at $1,000 in 2015 to 1.7 million now, I don't know how anybody can make sense of that. Thank you.
Thank you. Legislator Abbott.
If anybody's paying attention to real estate and when something big is coming, like the aquarium, which has already been approved by this body, then it would make total sense. It would be worth that. And if you read the documents that we are sent and pay attention, Corps put $1.4 million in environmental remediation on that site. 1.4 million. So it isn't fair or accurate to say it was just $1,000 and nothing else was invested in there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Further discussion on number 17. Leader Ryan.
Yeah, so I just want to say I am going to vote no, but my vote no is obviously because of land purchase, I get the aquarium. But I just, for the record, I am not anti-economic development. I'm not anti-aquarium. I am just anti-spending 85 plus 20% inflation on an aquarium completely 100% paid for by the taxpayers, right? So and I'm not going to go through it. We've vetted it. We've talked about it when we appropriated the 85. I've said it before, but I want to say it. I've said it again. There's many, many, many aquariums across this country. I don't believe any single one of them was completely paid for, built, designed with taxpayers' funding. Every single, there was some sort of public-private partnership. I am not going to vote for this because I just don't think that it's a good deal for the taxpayers. I don't think that the county taxpayers and the county residents should be paying 100% of the design, the build, the construction, the upkeep, the maintenance for the aquarium. I just don't think we should. I just don't think it's and I just don't think that, I don't want to be discouraging. I don't want to be a pessimist, but I get asked a lot. Do you really think that 1,400 people are going to walk, 1,400 people are going to walk through those doors every day? I can't say that. And I'm not sure how we can come to that conclusion. So with that said, I'll be a no.
Okay, so I don't really want to debate this, but just a point of clarification. There's been a lot of talk about what the value of the property is, and one subset of that is what it's assessed for. So property in the city of Syracuse is assessed at 61% of the full market value. And if you look at the tax bill or apply the equalization rate to the assessed value, you get a fair market value of almost $2.254 million. So based on the assessment, fair market value, what we're paying for, we're underpaying really by about $500,000. So I just wanted to make that point, and then I'll entertain any further discussion.
Can I just respond?
Sure.
But I also think we have to understand though too, was that I understand, right? It's appraised 60%. And I understand that there's an appraisal, then there's the assessed value, and then the appraised value. So
right.
The assessment, which was doubled, and then the appraisal was JF, and then they said, okay, well, because it's higher, then we're going to make the argument that we're getting a really good deal because it was appraised at much higher than we're paying. But I also say, but there's also comparables. Like, I don't know if there was an appraisal done with all the comparables of all the other tax map numbers, specifically the next two parcels that butt directly up against Bear Street 298. I mean, I don't know if that is for consistency. And the second part is, did the city of Syracuse double their the assessment for every parcel in the city of Syracuse? Or did it just double because we're going to put an aquarium down there? And if it did double because we're going to put an aquarium down there and somebody assessed it at 50% higher than it was appraised that somebody's assessed for, then I'm not sure if that's a great deal for the taxpayer. So I guess in retrospect, look at the whole city of Syracuse and why did this double overnight and did every other parcel of property in the city of Syracuse double overnight as well?
Legislator Burtis.
Okay, well, location, real estate. Number one rule in real estate is what? Location, location, location. So location plays a part, and of course, this has been the location since the start. Whether or not it is a quote unquote good deal is an interesting point. I think it's about the expense. How much does the current owner have into the property? Anyway, we already know it's 1.4 remediation, and we have a clear seeker, and so there's that. The point about inflation is well taken. This body has already approved $85 million for this project. So with this 1.7, that's coming out of the 85 million, right? So now we have less to build it. To me, they're separate transactions, right? This body has already approved 85 million. So they have 1.7 million less to build it. To me, that's a separate situation. If they go over 85 million, they're going to have to come and see us. And so in my mind, that's how this works. Also, as far as the aquarium discussion goes, yeah, as a guy who went through the aquarium, profit and loss, I spent a lot of time with that woman there from the administration, and took my vote very seriously, probably the most difficult vote I've ever made here on this floor. I think a component that we need to realize is that Micron is coming to town. Now, I agree. I don't really want Micron to put their name on this. They're doing a lot of other great things, and I hope that another sponsor can be found for it. But we're not in a vacuum. This moment is about a transformation of this community. I don't think it's too early to talk about developing a community. But let's talk about transformation. If you come to Cicero on Route 81, you'll see a transformation of Route 81 starting in my district, something I never thought that would happen. I guess I thought it was all about the city, but we're starting out there, and that process on 81 there is going to be transformative. Clay is going to be transformed. Cicero is going to be transformed. We have a great relationship with New York State DOT, and thank goodness for that, because we have a lot of comments and things planning going on. And so to say, for me to stand here and say that I'm for this is because of the transformation that's coming in this community. And is it fair to say that we need more things in this community for what's to come? And I would suggest the answer is yes. Are we ahead of time for that? Are we in time for that? I don't really know the perfect answer for that, but I think it's reasonable that an aquarium comes or something else. We've had lots of comments. Lots of time has been spent on this subject, and all the folks that don't want us to do it don't have a lot of other ideas for what else new residents, new people coming to town, what else are they going to do? And of course, with Micron coming, everything's going on with 81, other development, new homes, condos, townhouses, plan on. There's going to be a lot of change going on here, and I think we all just need to realize that and start to understand that that's what we're going to look like here in Onondaga County going forward.
Thank you. Further discussion on number 17? Legislator Kuhn?
Thank you. I just wanted to piggyback a bit on Legislator Burtis's comments. And he hits on one of the things that has been from the beginning of this discussion of aquariums is the focus on people coming to our community rather than the people who are already here, who have many needs and who may or may not be able to. And you're right, with Micron coming, people have higher salaries, but the concern about focusing on tourists and new people moving in as a priority over the people who live here. I just wanted to comment on that part of it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Legislator Kuhn. Legislator Kinney.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm not going to get involved in the discussion about the assessment. I have my feelings about that. But I do want to talk about this. You know, I'm not an Einstein, and it's hard enough to know that I make the wrong turn and go down a one-way street and realize I'm going to turn around and go back the right way. This aquarium deal is not good for the people that live in this community. I like the idea of an aquarium. I don't like the idea that we're put on the back of our taxpayers. I don't like the idea of not having a business plan. I don't like the idea of not having a maintenance schedule. Most aquariums, if not all aquariums, except those that are supported by business, such as the one in Atlanta, are not money makers, they're subsidized. Everyone on that side of the aisle complains all the time about the high taxes. Well, you think they're going to go lower when you got to subsidize an aquarium? So you can vote how you want on this. It's your privilege, it's your right. But I know that I'm against this for good, sound reasons, and I know that the people I talk to, the majority, by far and above, way over 75% of the people in this community are against this. So I'm going to vote no. But if you want to continue down this road and have the taxpayer subsidize it, just make sure you tell them that, okay? Thank you.
Thank you. Legislator McCarron.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I feel like we're almost re-legislating something that already passed this body. I think what we need to look at today is the value of the land worth what we're paying it? And as somebody who's been in real estate for 13 years, I believe that it is. And I, for that reason, will be supporting this measure. Thank you.
Thank you. Further discussion on number 17. Legislator, what's your name? Kelly.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Deb Cody Kelly, you know.
I'd just like, as we wrap up some of these conversations, I'd just like to add that last year we obviously allocated a sum of money to build an aquarium as a sustainable source of revenue to allow us to provide essential services without cutting deeper into the taxpayer dime. And as far as I'm concerned, we built a project to fit the price tag, not the other way around. So thank you.
Thank you. Legislator
Bush.
Thank
you. I just want to take a brief moment. In my district, this is not a partisan issue. It's not a Republican issue. It's not a Democrat issue. It's a common sense issue. Granted, we voted to allocate $85 million. We're going to spend part of that money today. I'm voting against it. I'm voting for my constituents who have made it very, very clear to me that they do not think this is a common sense, taxpayer-worthy project. And they are more concerned about housing people than housing fish.
Thank you, Legislator Bush. Further discussion on number 17. Leader May.
Thank you. Lots of good sound bites today. As I think it was Legislator Burtis who said, this was approved last year and it was $85 million. And from my standpoint, it's not going to be a penny more. It can't be, okay? That's what we approved, and it can't be approved. So if the prices go up, that's one thing. If the market drives higher pricing, that's something else. we approved an $85 million budget. And I say we, because I'm part of this body that ultimately did that, okay? I happen to have voted against it. I probably will do the same today, but for perhaps different reasons than many are talking about. But what we have in front of us today, just to kind of bring it all back home, is two administrative tasks: a vote for the purchase of the property, a purchase that's going to occur within the budget that we approved, and approval of the negative secret declaration, which we haven't talked about at all, really, but it's another very important element of this. I don't personally, as someone who voted against it and someone who never wants to be viewed as a sort of loser, if you will, because I lost that vote that day, right? Also, I would have preferred to see these two items separate before us today. I thought the environmental review was fine, thorough, fairly represented the facts and issues that were before us. If you took the trouble to read the whole thing, you'll see that that is in fact the case. As far as the land purchase goes, again, it's part of the $85 million budget. One thing we didn't really talk about, and I'll just mention, is the whole free enterprise component, and that's the market price. So as Legislator Abbott mentioned, the dialogue, the fact that a bullseye was put on that property for this purpose, that's going to drive prices a little bit. But it's the purposes and the sort of emotional attachment to what is being done is going to drive demand for price, and it's going to drive what wants to be spent. And at some point, the hand needs to be tipped for that parcel to be pursued. The proposal needs to be approved for that parcel to be pursued. So things happen in the order that they happened. It kind of is what it is. For as much as I did vote against the project last year, I also agreed and really still agree wholeheartedly that with the goal of investing to create, as Legislator Kelly said, sustainable revenue, to create sustainable revenue to keep property taxes low and to be able to fund the programs for people who need them most out into perpetuity. Some, or if not a lot of what we heard has been to take that money and just devote it to those purposes. And we're not mentioning the fact that if you look at the 23 budget and even the 22 budget, there are increments going on top of housing. There are increments going on top of the lead abatement problem. There's more money against lead abatement in this community. It's a sidebar, but there's more money against lead abatement than our ability to do anything about it. The intent is there, the resources are there. This is about an investment in the future. So I have to say, I never really could buy into that we could spend it better because we haven't really seen an idea that allowed us to effectively chase that goal of creating sustainable revenue to enable us to do things that we all want to do out into the future. So at the end of the day, like I said, I voted against this project last year because I wanted a better business plan. I still don't have it. So I'm voting against it today. Unfortunately, as I mentioned before, it also forces me to vote against the seeker because these two pieces are together. But again, as far as the merits of the seeker are concerned, I would suspect it would meet all of our approval should we have been looking at it separately. But those are just comments I wanted to share. Thank you.
Thank you, Leader May. Further discussion? Legislator Kinney.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm very confused about something. My numbers may be wrong, but as I recall, the report, that study said we're going to make $750,000 profit a year. Well, we're spending $85 million. So if you do the math, I think it's about 110 years before we break even. Is that a good investment? I don't think so. I'm not a rocket scientist, but I don't think that's a good investment. And maybe Leader May, you can help me with that, but I just don't see how that helps the taxpayers in the long run. Thank you.
Leader May.
Chairman, just to maybe shed some light on what I think, and again, I can't speak for anybody here, okay? Can't speak for anyone here, it's not my right. But I think when people are talking about the economics of this thing, and again, Bill, you know how I voted for this thing. And you know how I'm gonna vote again. But I don't disrespect or discredit how others have voted and why they have. And I think you know I never do that. So my point here is that when we talk about generating revenue, we're not talking about gate sales. We're not talking about, I say we, they are not talking about gate sales and revenue from the facility and from its operations. They're talking about the benefit of travel in, sales tax generation, which has been forecast, and how that money and wealth into our community with businesses that will benefit and prosper from the existence of. And again, I'm speaking for other people, okay? But those are the considerations that I think, you know, feed the narrative that you're concerned with, not the, you know, microscopic view, which by the way, I share, okay? The microscopic view of whether or not the balance sheet for this piece of property or this enterprise is going to show up with a number that's black or red at the end of the program. So that's my 2 cents on it.
Thank you. Further discussion on number 17. Leader Ryan.
I just want to say one thing. That's it, but if we could actually build this for $85 million in the current climate of inflation and construction costs, then we have vastly over appropriated the amount of money that we're earmarking for this, and that's not fair for the taxpayers either. Because we could use that to do better sewers, or we could lower taxes for people who need it most.
Anything further on number 17? Seeing none, will the clerk please call a long call?
Legislators Ryan?
No.
May?
No.
Irvin?
No.
Burtis?
Yes.
Gunnett?
Yes.
Cody?
Yes.
Abbott?
Yes.
Hume?
No.
Chase?
No.
Olson?
Yes.
McCarron?
Yes.
Knapp?
Yes.
Bush?
No.
Kelly?
Yes.
Kinney?
No.
Garland?
No.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
9 ayes, 8 opposed.
Number 17 is adopted.
District 6, Ms. Abbott.
Legislator Abbott.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. I rise and offer, bear with me, I don't have my reading glasses, items 18 through 22 and urge their adoption.
Thank you. Tammy?
Amending the 2020.
Moved away the reading. Any objections? Legislator Abbott.
Thank you. So this is always a good thing. This would be approving, accepting grant funds from the DEC, from the state, $396,000, which would go to the CMY Stormwater Coalition's mapping project. And it's important for us to monitor this because as it pertains to water quality and our system for dealing with that.
Thank you. Discussion on number 18. Seeing none, will the clerk please call a short call?
Legislators Abbott, May, Ryan, Rowley. 16 ayes, one absent.
Number 18 is adopted. Number 19.
A resolution approving.
Moved away the reading. Any objections? Legislator Abbott.
We've been hearing about this for a long time. 19 and 20 are actually companion items, but we're going to vote on them separately. This would approve improvements for the Lake Creek Liverpool station. Force mains are going to be replaced as part of an overall rehabilitation project.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Discussion on number 19. Seeing none, will the clerk please call a short call?
Legislators Abbott, May, Ryan, Rowley. 16 ayes, 1 absent.
Number 19 is adopted. Number 20.
A resolution
Moved away
authorizing.
the reading. Any objections? Legislator Abbott.
So this just would authorize issuing $25 million in bonds for the Lake Creek Liverpool.
Thank you. Discussion on number 20. Seeing none, will the clerk please call a long call?
Legislators Ryan?
Yes.
May?
Yes.
Irvin? Burtis?
Yes.
Gunnett?
Yes.
Cody?
Yes.
Abbott?
Yes.
Chase?
Yes.
Olson?
Yes.
McCarron?
Yes.
Knapp?
Yes.
Bush? Kelly?
Yes.
Kinney?
Yes.
Garland?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
16 ayes, 1 absent.
Number 20 is adopted. Number Number 21.
A resolution approving proposed improvements for the Onondaga County
Move to waive the
Sanitary.
reading. Any objections? Legislator Abbott.
Okay, this is similar to the last at Lake Creek, only this would be approving improvements over at Metro Wastewater Treatment Plant. They've got a new clarifier and some other things they're going to be doing.
Thank you. Discussion on number 21. Seeing none, will the clerk please call a short call?
Legislators Abbott, May, Ryan, Raleigh. 16 ayes, 1 absent.
Number 21 is adopted. Number 22.
A resolution authorizing the
Move to waive the
issue.
reading. Any objections? Legislator Abbott.
Thank you. This is the resolution which would authorize the bonds in the amount of $69 million to do the work that we just talked about at Metro.
Thank you. Discussion on number 22. Seeing none, will the clerk please call a long call?
Legislators Ryan,
Yes.
May,
Yes.
Irvin,
Yes.
Burtis,
Yes.
Gunnett,
Yes.
Cody,
Yes.
Abbott,
Yes.
Chase,
Yes.
Olson,
Yes.
McCarron,
Yes.
Knapp,
Yes.
Bush, Kelly,
Yes.
Kinney,
Yes.
Garland.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
16 ayes, 1 absent.
Number 22 is adopted. We have 2 local laws. Tammy, would you read local law A, please?
A local law authorizing the extension of a lease of county property known as James J. O'Connor Field located within the city of Syracuse to CNY Rugby Incorporated for use in connection with rugby activities.
Thank you. Leader May.
Thank you, Jared. I rise on your behalf to present this local law. It's sort of routine business for us. These are the rugby fields that are located near Western Lights. This group has used, maintained, and operated within these fields for approximately 20 years. This local law allows us to continue that relationship and the leasing arrangement that we have with them. I urge adoption to this local law.
Thank you. Is there any discussion on local law A? Seeing none, will the clerk please call a long call?
Legislators Ryan,
Yes.
May,
Yes.
Irvin,
Yes.
Burtis,
Yes.
Gunnett,
Yes.
Cody,
Yes.
Abbott,
Yes.
Chase,
Yes.
Olson,
Yes.
McCarron,
Yes.
Knapp,
Yes.
Bush, Kelly,
Yes.
Kinney,
Yes.
Garland.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
16 ayes, 1 absent.
Local law A is adopted. Local law B.
A local law amending the Onondaga County Charter and Onondaga County Administrative Code to establish a Department of Planning.
Legislator Burtis.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, indeed, the city is breaking away from the county when it comes to SACPA, and what we're doing is we're going to establish a new planning board. We're going to detail their powers and their duties. And we're going to establish a position of director, and we're also going to talk about his power and his duties. This is something that's been coming and been being worked on. Towns and villages are still going to have access to this planning department. And we have a good opportunity here as we walk forward together to have a good planning situation for everyone involved. And this will take effect July 1st. Urge its adoption.
Thank you. Discussion on local law B. Leader Ryan.
Oh, just a quick question. So for sake of clarity, right? So there wasn't a ton of procedural changes, right, to the current charter and code. Basically, this is kind of clean up SACPA and everywhere it said Syracuse was taken out of it because of their, I guess, if you were breaking away. Correct.
Right, so SACPA will no longer be in existence, right? And Syracuse is going to go their own way.
And then our planner coming over with us and the additional duties outlined in that they're here.
Yes.
Correct. Okay. No hiring,
Yeah.
no hires or fires are,
Right. Other than potentially the 2 creates that we may have done 4 a month or 2 ago, which would be part of this that we already did. Okay. I just want to make sure that we're, okay. Yep. And then responsibility is more streamlined use of resources among county units. Sounds good.
Thank you. Further discussion on local law B. Seeing none, will the clerk please call a long call?
Legislators Ryan?
Yes.
May?
Yes.
Irvin?
Yes.
Curtis?
Yes.
Gunnett?
Yes.
Cody?
Yes.
Abbott?
Yes.
Chase?
Yes.
Olson?
Yes.
McCarron?
Yes.
Knapp?
Yes.
Bush? Kelly?
Yes.
Kinney?
Yes.
Garland?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
16 ayes, 1 absent.
Local law B is adopted. Is there any further business to come before the legislature? Seeing none, entertain a motion, Leader May.
Thank you, Chairman. My little sheet says July 5th, so I move to adjourn until July 5th.
Thank you.
Wednesday, July 5th. Thank you.
Thank you. We are adjourned.